Hey everybody, we're Sean and Julie.
Welcome back to Chicory's Travels.
We just finished 8 days of boondocking.
And if you follow us at all or have watched any of our previous videos, you know that for the last 4.5 years, we've actually been campground, full hookup, RV resort kind of people, but we wanted to shake things up. So in this video, we're going to tell you about the places we've stayed over the last 8 days and some of the lessons we've learned. All right, we came inside because it was a little windy out there and we wanted you to be able to hear. Like we said, what we're going to talk about in this video are the places that we stayed, how you can find those places, and also lessons learned. So things like resource management, like water, power, and trash.
And so we actually moved around quite a bit just because it was our first time and we kind of wanted to see how we liked the different types of boondocking that there is. So we actually stayed a few nights at Harvest Hosts. We stayed at a winery in Sonoyta, Arizona. We stayed at a distillery called Desert Diamond Distillery up in Kingman, Arizona. And we stayed in a museum in Chiriaco Summit, California, which is just a few miles away from Joshua Tree. And it was the General Patton Museum. It's right off the highway there. And they actually have a whole campground that's dedicated to dry camping for people that are going to stay there. So you can stay up to 7 nights in that campground.
And if you're not aware of what Harvest Hosts is, it's a membership program that you join. I think it's now, what, $99 a year?
It's $79 if you don't want the golf courses and $119 if you want the golf courses.
Okay, so they have like 600 member sites, and some of them are now golf courses, so it's a little more expensive if you want those. But you pay that annual fee, and then you can stay at any of their places. Of course, you do. They do tell you in there, like, if you need to call them or send an email, or how to contact them. You don't want to just roll up, because some of them are a little bit smaller. Like the distillery we stayed at probably had space for one.
Well, you could fit a couple, but not big ones like us.
But the
winery had 5 acres of parking for people, and there was probably 6 RVs there the night we stayed.
Yeah, so there's a range of sizes, so the directory gives you that information. But anyways, we'll put a link down in the bio if you do want to join Harvest Hosts and you want to link to that website. I really enjoy staying at these kind of places because I feel like they're just a unique way to travel. I mean, you can stay, like we're going to talk about some other types of dry camping, or even in a rest area, which we didn't try. But the wineries and the distilleries and the museums, they're usually like locally owned small businesses, and you meet, like we had great conversations with the owners at every place we went to except the museum, because they just had people working there for them. But it just was a unique experience. So it's not necessarily a money-saving experience, because at least with the distillery and the winery, at the museum we saved money because it wasn't very much to get in, but the distillery and winery, we both had tastings, and then we liked it so much we bought some to go. So, but it was fun and it was unique. Did you like them?
I liked the Harvest Hosts. Yeah, I thought they were a unique way to meet people and learn stuff, and really a good way to do overnight stops. I think if you're going between places and you don't want to stay at a campground, you can stay at a Harvest Host and you get a whole different experience everywhere you go. So I think we both really enjoyed Harvest Host a lot.
Yeah, and we not only met and supported local business owners, we also met other RVers.
Yeah. The next type of place we stayed at was BLM land, and we stayed at Las Cienagas National Conservation Area, and there's also a National Historic Site there called Empire Ranch, which is still a working ranch, but it's been designated as a National Historic Site, and it was between Tucson and Nogales, Arizona. Mm-hmm. And the boondocking there, it seems very spread out. There's lots of different areas, and we went far back into the National conservation area, and we got a spot. We were all by ourselves.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
really
we
nice.
felt like we were alone in this amazing views. I mean, even the Harvest Host had some pretty amazing views, but this, you just felt like you were we felt like we were in Africa, because you'll see from the little video clip that I'm showing that it's in a special climate. It's a semi-arid desert, and Africa is one place that has it, South Africa, this one particular spot in southern Arizona, and just a few other spaces in the world that have this exact climate that look like that. So I felt like we were in Africa. And even in the morning, what were those things we saw?
We saw pronghorn antelope. Yeah.
Lots of them. So it was really cool. In the National Historic Site, the Working Ranch actually had a self-guided tour that you could go through.
And it was worth the tour, I thought. It was really good.
Mm-hmm.
And there's actually a host there that live in an RV, and they stay on the ranch for 6 months, and then they switch out with somebody else. So there's opportunities like that to be able to stay on this land for quite a while if you really enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. And the work campers there, the hosts, they have a full hookup site.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were in the dry camping site, but there was also an equestrian dry camping site not far from where we were. And talk about meeting interesting people. We met these two different couples who traveled together from Michigan every year. And in the equestrian site, it was near a water source. So they did have a big water trough where the horses could drink. And then they had, I've never seen them before, but these hay bales that they hang up in the trees. And they said they come down there every year, and you can just ride for miles and miles. So it was pretty neat.
Yeah, it was a good experience. And then the last boondocking type we tried out was casino camping. And we stayed at a casino near
Desert Hot Springs, I think it's called.
near
Joshua Tree South
in California, and it was called Spotlight 29. And they had a huge parking lot for RVs, so it was a good thing we stopped there, because I found a screw in one of our tires from one of the previous locations we had been, and so I was able to unhook the truck and get that fixed, because there was so much space there to be able to park.
Yeah, and so we just called the security office, because that's who manages the parking lot there for the campers, and we just said, normally you're not supposed to leave your vehicle except for to go to the casino. You're not supposed to be going out sightseeing and stuff. It's more like an overnight type stay. This wasn't one with a campground. Some casinos have campgrounds. This was a casino with a parking lot that you can stay in. But we called them up and explained the situation, and they were very nice about it and said sure. So a little trick also with casinos is you go in and you sign up for their, what do they call it,
Players
like rewards? Players card. Yeah. So we sign up for that. It's for free, and then you get their discount. So we had their buffet for $9.99, and then we played on the slot machines for a little while and had a little fun, and then had a good night's sleep. I felt totally secure there.
Yeah, and it wasn't noisy, or it wasn't too noisy or anything.
It was actually
like that.
even right off the interstate. I was surprised. I thought it would be noisier.
And when we got up in the morning, I opened our side door, and there was a truck camper parked like 15 feet from us, and we never heard them come in. So
Nope.
it was definitely, I would stay at a casino again, I think.
Yeah, me too.
I think my favorite overall was the National Conservation Area, just because it was quiet and peaceful, and we still had good internet service. I enjoyed that a lot.
I did enjoy that a lot too.
And we did try to go to Joshua Tree South, which is a popular boondocking spot, but it was over President's Day weekend, and there was just no room for us there. It was pretty full, crowded with people already, so we had to skip that.
Also, it had just rained a lot the night before we went to go to that land there. We have a big fifth wheel, 44 feet, pulled by a Chevy dually pickup truck. So we're very big and we're very heavy, and we were driving back there, and you could see that there were some more spots empty, but we just didn't really feel comfortable that our RV would not get stuck back there, essentially.
Yeah, because we already had the truck and four-wheel drive to get through, so.
Yeah. So, tip about boondocking that people have shared with us, and we're glad that we followed that, is that we took the truck only to go scout out spots. We weren't pulling that fifth wheel when we're going down this road, not sure. I mean, because there wasn't a turnaround spot.
No.
Remember? To turn around even the big dually truck, it was about a 10-point turn because it was such a tight little road. So, yeah, definitely wouldn't have been good if we had taken the fifth wheel trying to do that. So we do know a lot of people who have been there. We've seen them on Instagram lately, but we weren't successful. But like Sean said, we found this other place called Chiriaco Summit, I believe, and that's the last name of the people who founded it. And it was right behind the General Patton Museum. Now, we found it through the Harvest Host because that museum is part of Harvest Host, but you don't have to use Harvest Host to stay. They call it a dry camping area because it is dry camping, but it's almost like a little campground in that it has a camp post and it has clearly delineated and numbered sites even. If you're going to stay for more than one night, you just need to let the camp post know. And you're allowed to stay for up to seven nights.
Yep.
And there's even a little cafe right there. Everything has the same name as the little, I don't even know if it's an actual town, but it's an exit, and they have a little airport, a cafe that was really good, a gas station, the museum, which was also very interesting.
Yeah, it was a good museum.
Definitely recommend it.
Right on the side of the road like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good museum. So how did we find all these places? Well, Harvest Host we found through the Harvest Host website, which they've just updated it, and it's really good. It's really easy to find places that are going to be on your route. There. So if you do join, just know that the website is exceptional for a program like this, in my opinion.
And we found the dry camping site that was at the National Conservation Area because friends of ours gave us the GPS coordinates.
Yeah.
However, you could also use a resource like Campendium, which is one of my favorite resources to also just find campgrounds too. And you can use that for free. And I'll provide a link to a video that I just did on trip planning if you want to get a little more guidance on how to use Campendium and how to be able to filter whether you're looking for free camping or campgrounds. Private campgrounds or federal or state, you can use it for all of them, and I made a video about that, so I'll provide a link to it at the end of this video.
And then the casino we found both on Campendium and casinocamper.com, I think is what it is.
Or maybe .net. We'll check and put a link in the bio, but it was just another website because we wanted to look at reviews. There were like 3 different casinos in the area, and we wanted to read reviews and get one that, we thought would be good.
So, how did we do with all of our
resources?
I think we did pretty good. We have our 4 Battleborn lithium batteries and 800 watts of solar panels, and I think we had to run the generator twice, each for an hour. Mm-hmm. And one of those was Julie wanted to use the Instant Pot and microwave. And the other one was because it had been, like Julie said, it had been raining and cloudy, so we just didn't get enough solar. We probably didn't require it to turn on, but it was good just to keep the batteries topped off. Yeah,
because we never, one of the great things about the lithium batteries is that you can take them all the way down to 0, and what was the lowest we ever got?
I think like 48 or something like that.
Yeah, and that was after the nighttime, right?
Yeah.
So first thing in the morning, we were down to like 40-something%. So we probably didn't need to do it because then there was full sun again the next day. But, when you can, we do have a generator, why not run it for an hour and just top it off before you go to bed? We just gave us a little more comfort, I think.
Plus it's good for the generator, so.
Yeah, that's true. Generators need to be exercised. So the other thing is water. We have a large fifth wheel, like I said, so it has 100-gallon fresh water. Mm-hmm. And then how much are the other tanks?
60 each.
Okay. And so what we did in preparation for this is we filled up our tank when we left the campground. We were at a full hookup campground when we started boondocking, so we filled it up. And then we only used 66 gallons for the week. And that is with cooking in the RV and washing those dishes every day, showering every day. I wash my hair every other day. So still, you know, not really. I said I shower every day, but my hair gets dried out. Come on, ladies, you know what I'm talking about. You can't wash it every day. It's not good for it. Anyways, did you wash your hair every day?
Every day.
Yeah, this long hair he has. So anyways, doing all that, we only used 66 gallons of fresh, but we did do a couple of things to kind of conserve a little bit. One was for drinking water. I got the big bottled jug of drinking water. So I didn't drink from our fresh water. Although, like I said, we had 100 gallons and we only used 66. So I could have. Mm-hmm. But I didn't know, because remember, this was our first time going out to do this. So I did use bottled water for that. And then I like to shower first thing in the morning. So when I'm first turn on the water before it gets hot, I would hold a bucket up underneath it to capture all that cold water. And then we use that to flush the toilet with. So we were not just wasting that right down the fresh into the gray, I mean. So we were reusing that water a little bit, using it to flush with. And then we took Navy showers. So what that means, if you're not familiar with that term, is you turn on the water, you get wet, you turn off the water, lather up, and then you turn back on the water to rinse. And we both took Navy showers, and then I also did Navy dishes. So what I mean by that is the same concept. I turned on the water to get the dishes a little wet, although I had completely scraped off any like food or anything into the trash. But then I just got the dishes a little wet, got my my sponge soapy. Then I would turn off the water and wash all the dishes, soap them up, scrub them up. And then I just turned it back on to rinse them. Now I know some other people do some techniques where they even like try to capture that rinsed water and maybe toss it outside if they're using a biodegradable soap or natural soap that doesn't hurt the environment or whatever. And I do use soap like that, but I just knew that we had enough capacity that I didn't do that. I just went ahead and rinsed it into our gray water tank. And what'd you say our gray water tank is 60? And we were at 2/3 full. Is that right? Mm-hmm. On our gray. And the black, our sensor doesn't work, and but it was pretty full, because you know it's pretty full when you go to flush it and it gives you just like a little spurt, a little burp, a little spurt of water. It was doing that on the last night. Yeah. So we know that it was pretty full, but it wasn't totally full. And then trash. Yeah. Trash was the other thing that we did differently. Besides that, everything else was like completely the same, right? Yeah. Because he even watched TV, he used his satellite dish and everything. Yeah. But for trash, what I did is I used a little Walmart, bag like that, and when we would go out for the day sightseeing, I would just take it and toss it in a dumpster that I could find, whether it was at the store or at the gas station. And I didn't take like a big garbage bag or 2 or 3 of those. I mean, I just took one little bag and tossed it in there, so we're not like abusing these places that were, patronizing their businesses. And then that helped keep down the trash, and then I just stocked up on the recycles until the week was up, and then we knew we were coming to a place that had a recycle bin, and I put them in the recycle bin.
So overall, it was not bad. We enjoyed it, I think.
I wouldn't say not bad, because we definitely plan to do it again, right?
Oh, yeah.
I would say it's above not bad.
Okay, it was fun. And we'll definitely do it again. In fact, we're planning on doing it in a month. Yep. I think we'll be out doing it again. So give it a shot if you haven't done it already. Just practice good conservation stuff, and you can make your stuff last a long time.
Yeah, and like we told you, there's lots of different options. So if you don't feel comfortable being out there all alone, you can do it with some other people, or you can do it at a Harvest Host type place and you know, kind of maybe with training wheels a little bit, right?
Yeah, or a casino.
Yeah, or a casino, yeah. So
Yeah.
there's lots of different options. So I hope this video helped you, and we're also going to have a blog post that I will link to below as well. We'll also link to our videos where Sean does our solar install and our lithium battery install, because the lithium batteries are like a complete like plug and play swap out, right? What do you call it?
They're a drop-in replacement.
Drop-in replacement. I knew he had a good name for that. So he has a whole series of videos on doing that, and I also have one on trip planning, so we'll share those with you also. And let us know if you have any questions, or if you have any tips, things that we missed and we should try next time. Please let us know. If you have any good GPS coordinates to share, please do that. You can private message them if you don't want to blast them to the world, and we appreciate it. And until and follow us on Instagram. I always location tag where we are. You can also look back in our feed and see the places we were, so like that Las Ciennegas and the distillery and the winery, all those places are location tagged. And also let us know if our paths are going to cross.
And until we see you on the road,
Safe travels.